Welcome back to the Make a Baby podcast. I'm Carolina Sotomayor, your Reiki womb healer and podcast host. We have an amazing client, an amazing story. I consider her a success story, and she's from our Make a Baby headquarters. Her name is Nicole, and she comes from Canada. She's been one of my favorite people that I've ever worked with, and we're going to talk to her today. We're going to get the tea. We're going to know what her experience has been like. And Nicole, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Hi, Carolina.
Hi. We're best friends already, just in case you didn't know. We have chemistry, we have charisma, we have all the things. Okay, so I'm just going to drive straight into it. What drew you to join the Make a Baby headquarters?
Yeah, I was interested back in January, but it just wasn't the right timing for me. I was going through some hormone suppression at that time. And so my fertility journey kind of was at a stalemate. So then when I saw it come out in July, I was like, this is my time. And I put it out to the universe to be like, give me a sign that this is what I need to do next.
Right.
And sure enough, within a week, you contacted me and I was like, thank you, universe. You gave me a sign. And so I was just like, yep, sign me up. Like, thank you. I'm ready.
And what made you feel like when I use this word ready a lot, and it's just like an internal knowing of like, I want to do something. But for you, how did you know, like, how would you describe being ready to heal or ready to do womb healing? Was there like, can you describe what that feels like within your own person?
Yeah, well, at that time as well, like we were going into our second egg retrieval. So I knew like I was ready to start healing and ready to dig into Reiki a little bit more. It's just like, it was kind of just like an intuition, I guess, just an inside like feeling where this is what I need to do.
Because you were already inside the Make a Baby membership.
Correct.
And this was like, this is the next level of healing. I definitely think also just to distinguish between the two programs is the membership is a more self-paced. It has a vault, it has meditations and healings you can work with. And we just have one call a month and a membership channel. But this is a high touch program where you get a lot of support to move through things. Can you share what it was like to go through your egg retrieval inside this program? Have you ever done any other fertility treatments before your egg retrieval?
We did 2 IUIs, and we've done 1 egg retrieval previous to this one. So okay. I can definitely compare the two. This one,
tell us everything. I was really curious about is like in depth, like how can you share like how this egg retrieval felt with the support of Reiki, being attuned to Reiki, and versus like other treatments you've done where like you were doing it without Reiki?
Yeah. It was the second month of the headquarters. I was doing my egg retrieval. So it was perfect timing literally for us because the headquarters started in July. So in this egg retrieval, I felt more calm, more grounded. I felt good during the injections. I felt like I'm one badass woman.
I love that.
Yeah. And I just felt like the injections didn't hurt. Everything just went a lot more smooth. Fear definitely creeped in, but when fear did creep in, I was able to use like Reiki and the tools that we were taught in the first month of the Make a Baby headquarters to help me ground myself, like especially Reiki. So like I can't, it was a game changer for me during this egg retrieval because I felt confident. I felt grounded. I felt calm. I was like, this is it. I actually spoke to my spirit baby during that time. And I call my spirit baby Elle, and she actually spoke to me back.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had named her.
Yeah.
I guess I always felt girl energy too, but I didn't know you named her Elle. I got goosebumps. I love that. Yeah, oh my gosh. You're going to make me cry.
Yeah. And she spoke back to me and was just like, this is it, Mom. This is it. And so I went in being like, this is like, even to my partner, I was like, this is our baby. Our baby's in here. And And you know, when I compare it to my first egg retrieval, oh gosh, I was a stress ball.
Well, it's
I
a
was not
really
grounded.
invasive, like IVF and IUI is invasive and it's hard on your body.
Yeah, and it's just so many unknowns. I think when you do it the second
So
time,
many.
I know what to expect, I guess, a little bit
Yeah,
more. But I couldn't ground myself. I was like, my poor partner was just like, I don't even know how to handle you right now because I was like up and down my emotions. I would
right.
cry. I would self doubt that this was going to work. Um, it just was a bad, like, not a great experience. And then this time I really felt like it was the best experience.
I wanted to touch upon something was you mentioned your partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people whether they go through fertility treatments or not, but infertility is very hard in a relationship. Can you speak to um anything that your partner has said about anything about the Reiki versus like before you didn't have Reiki? Can you speak to that? Like, how has Reiki affected your relationship? Have you done Reiki
Well,
on your partner?
yes, and he loves it. He's very open to that stuff,
I love
so which
that
is
for
good.
you.
I've also done Reiki on my dog as well, and he
Love
loves it
it.
too. But with our relationship, I feel like it's just gotten better. He's noticed that I was a lot more calmer. Like ever since I started the headquarters, I'm not so, like manic, I guess, where it's like one
Hey,
day I'm
girl.
good and the next
Yeah.
day I'm like a crazy person. Just
No,
can't
maybe
handle
you
my
just
emotions. Yeah.
I think also it's really important to understand that like once you get Reiki attuned and once you learn Reiki and you receive it, it's it is forever changing and it's going to ground you much faster and easier versus if you didn't have that energy healing system installed into you.
Mm-hmm.
Um I think that I can also say like I didn't have like I got Reiki and then I got pregnant. But I can say that I can attest to feeling crazy or manic. When I was grieving the loss of my dad, I would spiral, but I didn't know it. I was just like people call me a hurricane because
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh, she's so hyperactive. She must have ADHD. I didn't know it was manic. And I don't have been diagnosed or anything like that, but I would just move and do things really fast. I wouldn't have to sit still. But once I got Reiki, I wasn't afraid to sit still anymore. But also when I would get a Reiki session with my person, I became like functional. I felt because
Mm-hmm.
what I didn't know was happening was she was putting all of my energy back versus like I had such an overactive crown chakra that I was kind of like always super thinking. So none of my energy was in my body. It was in my crown chakra and leaving my body. So with Reiki, it's just and grounding is collecting your energy to put it back into your chakras so that you can be balanced. And I think what would you say is like how did you feel like going through Reiki grounded and feeling safe versus not? Because I think that's a really important question for anyone that is listening. Like maybe they only have gone through fertility scared or ungrounded or manic or like, I just got to do more, 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 more. In your experience, what advice would you give to them?
Like on Reiki or like
Like
how?
if they like, would you encourage them to do Reiki or what would you like if they feel out of control and they're curious about Reiki healing, what advice would you give it to them?
Like definitely look into Reiki to help you like calm and feel grounded, or reach out to Carolina and the headquarters. A little prompt for you. But truly, it's changed not only like my fertility journey, but it's changed my life. Like these are skills and tools that I'm going to carry on when I'm a mom, you know, and when I'm elderly and I'm a teacher. So even I carry those skills with me at work. And yeah, it's just continuing to heal. Like it never ends, but definitely do it. Like I get it. Being in a fertility journey, it's stressful. It's true. You're always like, go, go, go. I have to do this. I have to do this and I have to do this. But I think what Reiki has also taught me to slow down and like find my joy. And I think that has helped my
Ah,
relationship too a lot, is that we're starting to do things together that we both enjoy, and
mm,
slowing down, because I was like you, a very much a hurricane, and it was all just, I just focused on fertility. Everything else didn't matter. And so all our, like with my partner, all we would talk about is fertility. And he was just like, we got to stop this. This isn't, we have a life that we need to live, you know, outside of just fertility.
100%. Um, so that kind of leads me into this question. You may have answered it, but maybe there's more. Were there any specific breakthroughs or aha moments you experienced during the Make a Baby headquarters? Because that sounds like one of them.
For sure. That was
That's
definitely
like a
one of
huge
them.
one, right?
Yeah. And I think learning about my clair abilities was also a big aha
Oh,
moment for
I
me.
love talking about this with you. Keep
Yeah,
going,
like
keep going. I have to stop myself. I have to put myself on mute. I love talking to you and I love hearing everything. Okay, go ahead.
I think, I always knew that I could see things like images and things, but working in the headquarters, I really dug deeper into my other clair ability, which was clairaudience, and that's hearing. And I will never forget, like before my egg retrieval, like I was saying before, I talked to her and she told me this was the moment and this is it. One of these embryos, even if you just get one, this is it. And so that was like, oh my gosh, like I need to dig more into that, because I had my egg retrieval on August 4th. So it was a month into the headquarters. I think another aha moment was when we did the mother and father wound healing, and that meditation, oh boy, was magical. But I was at work at that time, like in my office, during the summer, like just prepping for school. And, I never cried so many therapeutic tears in my life, but after that, like being able to go through that meditation and like see my mom and dad and tell them, what has hurt me in the past, and then hug them at the end, was just beautiful. And I will have to say, my relationship with my father since then has grown so much, like more than it has previously, because I know it grew a lot in the membership, but I have been able to talk about my fertility journey with my dad, which I never have been able to. And I feel supported by him, which was something that was absent during my childhood. So that was definitely an aha moment. And I definitely have boundaries with him still, but I am loving what I'm seeing right now and seeing growth within me in that relationship, but also growth with my dad.
Okay, I want to pause. Okay. So I used to call you my lucky one. I don't think I ever told you that one. Because
No.
every time that I did a giveaway, you would win.
Yeah,
And I was like,
it's true.
we have done one-on-one work before the headquarters. And I told my husband this. I was like, Cole won again. She goes, how many? I was like, I think that she's run both. I think you run 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, because you did all the things. I was like, oh, she won again. And it would be like one of those pickers, like random pickers. I was like, this is destiny. This is fruition. I remember when we first got together, that was like the biggest blockage. And it was with your dad. And it was very like for you to say, like from there, and it was like eggshells to now
Mm-hmm.
like I feel supported with him and I feel joy in our relationship, and you have boundaries. Like
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't even speak, like it was his way or the highway, and it was eggshells, and it was nerve-wracking to even, and like very like unraveling to be like around him. And now you're like, I have boundaries and I find joy and I actually have support. That is a miracle. Do you like do you see how like sometimes we forget where we started? And I just
Mm-hmm.
really want to highlight, some people never get to that point.
No, you're right.
And so I think this is monumentous because the reason why I think it's monumentous is because you curated, cultivated, and taught what essentially is the basis of this is emotional safety within your relationship with your dad. So through your healing, you chose like, I'm going to own this. I'm going to own what
Yep.
happened to me as a child. I'm responsible to, I'm not whatever may have happened, but our relationship, I'm going to heal it.
Yep.
And then you became a leader in a parental relationship, created emotional safety. That is leaps and bounds, because emotional safety is what is needed in order to keep your womb open. But also, that's forever going to change your family tree. That's going to change every relationship that he has through you. So, like your spouse and your child. That means he's going to be that much better. You broke, ultimately ended ancestral trauma because of that. Did you know that?
Not really, but
Well, there you go. I'm laying it
I knew it
out.
was big.
Like,
I knew it was big, and I will never forget that day. It will be, yeah,
that's
forever
what that is, though.
in my heart.
That is amazing. Like, not any short lesson, probably besides your conception, that is inevitable, that will happen.
Yep.
That is the biggest miracle that I've heard in a long time. Not that we're quantifying miracles, but that is huge progress. And like, that's a celebration, because it is where I find where people stop is they'll heal the wound and they'll get to a plateau. But it's another level of courage to have hard conversations. And this is proof that you have those hard conversations. The follow through on having a hard conversation, it's not a one-time thing, but then have to reinforce a boundary, and then for them to, have the integration afterwards. Like, this is multi-level. And then to have, okay, did they respect it? Did they fall in line, or did they challenge it? But now we get to exist on the other side of a positive. I have a positive existence with my dad on the other side, because you also allowed it time to integrate. And a lot of people could have stopped at any point of those levels. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's not like A through Z. No, because you're interacting with another soul, and he has a choice to get on board or not.
Exactly.
And your commitment to that, I love you. Because that's changing. Honestly, I was talking about, we have a new core of the headquarters, and this morning I was like, it starts with naming your emotion, feeling your emotion, and then being able to voice it, but also having empathy for yourself and whoever you need to communicate that with, so they can serve you better. But the empathy is what changes the world from hate to love. And that's you're changing, because think about, your dad is now going to be a grandpa, and when he holds your baby, you're not going to be in the back of your mind worried. You get to have peace of mind. That, my friend, is priceless. You have
Thank
now
you.
peace. Like, that's how far this goes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like, and I think that's like, I think I'm a human design projector, so I can see the picture, big picture. But for people who may not be see like how far that this can go, that's exactly how far it reaches, and even beyond. I'm proud of
Yeah.
you. Like, so so big, so big.
Thank you. I
Okay,
wouldn't have been able to do it without you in the headquarters. So thank you.
but it's your strength. You make the decisions. Like I said, it was your dad's choice to get on board. It was your choice to have the hard conversations. Okay, so I want, just because we're here, you've been in the membership and the headquarters. What do you think is the biggest change? Like, or did you think there was significant difference in your experiences? What was the difference for you?
Oh, definitely. Like in the headquarters, you dig deeper. Like the meditations, the healings are more profound, I would say. For me, I feel like the membership's a great way to get an idea of what this is all about. And then
Oh,
the
I like that too.
headquarters is just like, you're digging in. We're going to get really, and it's going to be hard sometimes. Like healing's
It's not
never
easy. Yeah.
easy. But you just, dig deeper, and you see, to be honest, you see results more. But I do like I'm still in the membership and I still continue with the meditations and stuff, but I feel more like empowered and more.
I love that word.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we look back at the headquarters, was there a particular week that you were like, or module that resonated the most and you're like, yes, this is my favorite?
I think you know this one, but the past life one.
I knew it. 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 That was my favorite too.
That was sorry, my phone just fell. I got so excited. But
you're gonna have to tell the whole story.
Yeah. So basically I've had a past life healing done maybe 1 or 2 years ago.
Okay.
And it was very generic, but the lady who did it with me, she was great. She just said that in a past life I was a teacher, but I also was a soldier in one of the world wars. And I was like, okay. And she's like, you died during that war. And that was it. So I never really thought much of it. I was just like, oh, that's fascinating, that I was a teacher in the past, but I was like, I don't know how the soldier relates, but I just moved on. But then we did a past life healing in the headquarters and the soldier came up again. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then Carolina, you were able to make that connection, and that this young man who was 18 to 20 years old, the past life of me, basically he was like grieving the loss, like that he could never have a family. And so I had to heal that to be able
for people that are listening is, when I redesigned the headquarters, and when we were doing this, I was going to do a past life regression, which I feel like if you're not, I don't know how to do that in a group setting safely. And I think you have to approach things with like solid, like an integrity. And I was like, well, I can do past life healing. I can't do a past life regression. I was like, and I was going to attempt to, but then I was like, no, it doesn't feel right. But we can definitely, with Kundalini Reiki, we can send healing to past lives and all of those timelines super easy. So I was like, we're going to pull cards. So when we were doing I was pulling 2 decks of cards. And for anyone that's listening, and if you do card readings for yourself, you might want to try that. 2 decks of cards can really complement each other. We used a past life oracle card deck, and then we used an Akashic Records. And getting into the Akashic Records was huge for us and finding out all of those details. So I love that's how we tactfully, strategically tapped in to get more information. But when you told me, like when I was pulling out and it was a soldier, because you didn't tell me that ahead of time, or did you? No, we didn't. So when I pulled out the soldier card and you're like, no way, it totally, like, I almost peed myself because I was like, wow, like, and that's also a great segue into like, explaining how spirit talks to you, or spirit babies talk to you, whether it's God, your spirit guide, your spirit baby, your ancestors, angels. They're never going to be like, okay, here's your procedure and here's in black and white. Here's the full story of how it's all going to go. They communicate in symbols, hints, and clues, and that numbers. They might send the same thing over and over until you're like, I got it. But like, what I love about what you explained, it was like, it was kind of a generic reading, but I took away this. How many years ago was that anyway?
Like 1 or 2, no, maybe 2 years ago.
So, but you remember something. So you got a fragment of information. You're like, this is not a full picture. Then you come 2 years later and you get another piece of information and you're able to connect the dots. That is exactly how is an exact answer or evidence of how spirit works, or spirit baby communication, spirit guide, any communication from the other side works 100. Like for me, that's how it always works. I've seen aprons with hearts on it. I've smelled smoke for some people. I was like, I've seen like different colored. I remember I did a reading for a lady and I was like, seeing this guy, he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, white couch, and he has like this kind of eccentric, kind of like gold frosted like wallpaper. And she's like, that's my grandpa. Like these like things that make no sense to me. But if I just like And I think it's really pointing out, like, for anyone that's listening, and even in your spirit baby communication, you're like, all right, I didn't get that. You can ask for more. And that's also why using divination tools like oracle cards or a pendulum can be a great complement to communicating with your baby. So let's talk about that. So you touched upon it. What is like the most wildest question you've ever asked your spirit baby, if you want to share?
I think nothing wild. Just like if she's close, like is this it? I guess like what she looks like. Nothing crazy, I don't think.
Does she visit you in your dreams?
No, not yet. And that's something I'm
Really?
working on. Yeah. I don't like
Oh,
unless I'm having such deep sleep that I don't remember in the morning.
it's
But
possible.
it is my next step is to be
What are you
able
doing before you go to bed?
I've been doing some of the meditations that you sent me,
Did you
like
ever do
before you
the
sleep.
dream one?
Yeah, the dream one. That's what I've been trying to do, but I don't know. I
I
have
have a
been.
new one.
Oh, okay,
It's being edited. I'll send it to you.
okay, perfect.
It's
But
for the
yes,
spirit baby.
that's my next
Okay.
step because I would love that.
It's for the Spirit Baby University course. That's not released yet. Stay tuned. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. I want to talk about something a little bit deeper. So let's talk about, okay, and this might be a little far-fetched for some people who haven't, when I use the word womb or relationship with yourself or relationship with your womb, they're like, I don't get it. But as a person that has worked with me for a while and has done the membership in the headquarters, do you feel like you have a relationship with yourself and a relationship with your womb?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you
I think
describe it?
yeah, I think a big word for me in the headquarters was trust, and
That's
I
an inside
definitely
joke for us.
yeah. I trust in my womb more than ever, and I trust in me more than ever. Um, I know that my womb is a safe place for my baby to grow, and that it's like I feel safe in the unknown, right?
That's key because
Mhm.
I think what we don't get enough of is feeling safe. And if you can get faith, there's so many unknowns in the fertility
Oh yeah,
journey, but if you can feel safe in the unknowns,
yeah.
that's magical. How do you move through differently if there's a lot of unknowns? How do you move through that knowing you feel safe?
To be honest, Reiki helps me work through that. It has changed my life, Carolina. And I was actually at my hairdresser's last night and she was saying that, she's been dealing with, I know this is off topic, but
No, share it. I love
she
story. No,
was,
like stories are great.
yeah, she was just saying that she's like, I've been dealing with anxiety and depression. And she's like, have you tried Reiki? And I was like, oh girl, I, I said I could do it on myself. I'm pretty soon going to be a master. And then
Yeah,
she
you're gonna
was
be
just,
certified. I'm gonna give you a
yeah,
certificate.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm so excited. So she was like, oh my God. She's like, I go to somebody. I'm like, that's great too. Like, don't get me wrong. Going to
No,
someone
yeah, you
is
only need a
great too.
person.
Yeah. We all need a person. But being able to do it on yourself is it's another level. And it's literally changed my connection with my womb, my fertility journey, my life journey, my relationships, everything. Yeah.
I feel like it's like the ultimate life glow up,
Yes, totally.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are some positive changes in your life that have happened to you outside of your fertility and healing? Uh, what that were like changes, maybe not consequently directly related to Reiki, but what are some other things that I think you've alluded to them? Is there anything like you're specifically like, oh, this is very, very different?
Um, Finding joy in
Mm,
just finding what, like my inner child and what interests me, I think has been a main thing and focusing on that. And to be honest, putting less pressure on myself at work in my everyday life. There's days that come and I'm like, in the past, I would be like, oh my gosh, I didn't meditate in the morning, or I didn't do a yoga, or I didn't work out, and it would bother me. But now I'm just like, no, My body didn't want that, or I didn't want that at that time. Tomorrow's a new day. So I think that was a big
So
one
that's
for me.
compassion. Let's
Yeah.
identify, like, you have more compassion for yourself.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's what it is. I never knew what word to put with it, but it is more compassion with myself.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this takes me back. So in the beginning, in the first month of the headquarters, there's a there's 3 levels of love that we talk
Mhm.
about. So you are now, so, and I said this in our on our private podcast or in our group, we said eventually you will move through these 3 tiers of love. And these 3 tiers of love, I'm going to pull it up so I can speak to it. The bottom level is conditional, the second one is defensive, and the third one is unconditional love. And I learned this from my coach, Catherine Havey. And conditional love is where, like, we get in an argument, you lash out, I withdraw, and we're both angry. Defensive love is where they're still lashing out, but maybe I don't react as much. And then the third level, which is the top tier, is unconditional love, where I maintain love for myself and the other person, and I move through love and I don't lash out, because when you have unconditional love, you don't need to defend yourself. There's no need.
Mhm.
So, and then eventually you and we can move at any point in time between these 3 layers, but it's a choice to move through these levels. So here's another celebration moment. Maybe you didn't realize it, and this is just
No.
me, is that I I distinctly said someday you will innately, once you start practicing these and with Reiki, one day you will just immediately wake up and you will be sitting in unconditional love and may not even know that you've been operating there for a while. So for you
Yeah.
saying, no, I don't have to punish myself. My body needs to rest. I'll do it tomorrow. It's okay. That compassion actually stems from your unconditional love from your self relationship.
Well, that's beautiful. Yeah.
What?
That's huge for me. So
That,
yes. Yeah.
yes. Oh my God.
Thank you.
Did you
Yeah, I
make that
didn't notice.
correlation or no?
No, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like your body. Okay. So for me is like, there's different levels of healing or mastery of something. But when you can embody something and you may not even know that you're consciously embodying it, but you're living it, it's proof that you've mastered something and you're living it. And that's like your way of life. You're embodying unconditional love as your state of being.
Oh, wow.
That's your normal state of living. If your internal voice went from inner critic to unconditional love,
Mm-hmm.
you have mastered it.
Wow. That's my mind's
Are
blown.
you getting that? Like, because you're
Yeah.
embodying unconditional love for yourself, which is like the pinnacle of like the result of you could want. My whole goal in any person that comes through headquarters is that you become the most reliable, trustworthy person in your life. But beyond that, if you can become the most unconditional loving person in your life, do you want to take my job?
Not yet.
Like I said this before, but I will say it again. Congratulations, my friend. This is
Thank
like
you.
when somebody, and sometimes this is also those moments that if you've achieved everything like in your goal or whatever it is that you set out, sometimes you don't realize you've made it.
It's true. It's very true.
Do you know that you've just made you've already made it? I'm just like shining a flashlight.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that's it. I knew I've grown so much and I've done so much, but with you just saying it now, it's just like, I don't know. I have goosebumps. I really do. It makes it real. Like, oh my God, I did do that.
Yeah, like that is like, and what I think is, I learned about this when I did an inner child healing program for entrepreneurs during the summer. You know that, but I was like, what was huge for me was I spent like 10 years or like majority of the past 10 years healing my father relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But then my mother wound came up for me prominently this year. I was very angry. So when I got into the program that I was in and she said that, I cried so hard. I had to like go off video because I have had to be on defense with my mother for so long. And when I said, when she was, I was preparing for her to visit, this is on a personal
Yeah.
note. I was like, well, if I can just set an unconditional love for myself first, because I'm the most important person in my relationship
Mm,
in life, then there's no need to defend myself to her. There's nothing to fear if I'm sitting in unconditional love. And I cried because I was like, because one is I love a good hack. And I love like,
who
let's
doesn't?
love our shortcut there. How can I streamline this? How can I make this more lean? How can I get there faster? And that was because God, I think God has a sense of humor with everyone, but particularly me. He's like, here, you asked for a shortcut, so you don't have to do this. I don't think any of this healing work is a shortcut for anything. But if you can find a way to embody unconditional love, essentially that's a shortcut to get rid of the anger and the bitterness faster.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what I took away. And I was like, I have to bring this over to headquarters. I have to let women know that this is it. And it's not imminent. It's like not like immediate. Like your unconditional love, like you wouldn't have gotten that in month 1.
No.
But we just finished month 3. Like we just finished October 5th. It's October 12th now. So we
Yeah.
finished a week ago and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it stacks. It builds. I'm so proud of you. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. I think we went through everything. What advice would you give to someone who's considering joining the Make a Baby headquarters? I know we touched a little bit on this, but like someone's curious about it and they're on the fence about the investment. What would you say?
I would say do it, obviously, and that you won't regret it. If you want to change the kind of the perspective on your fertility journey or even life journey, this is the program. But like I was saying, it doesn't only help with fertility; it helps with life. But you're going to be healing so much, and it's going to be hard at times. But you just have to trust the process. And really, I guess, really dig deep within yourself and be like, is this what I need? And like, feel all the feels and then, do it. Like it literally, like Carolina, you have such a gift. And I feel so grateful that you shared that gift with me. And I know you share it with all the other ladies in the headquarters as well, but my life is forever changed. And I know that whoever signs up from now on, their life will be changed as well. And I'll never forget this. I remember you pulled tarot cards for the first time.
Yes, because
And
I was
you
learning
pulled,
tarot.
yeah, you pulled the 4. And it's always stuck with me throughout the headquarters. But I've made the connection now what it all means. And that it was like August 4th is when I had my egg retrieval. And then embryo or the egg number 4 was the one that made it to
It's right.
the embryo.
Because
and then
yes, I remember now.
I was like, what is my 4th or my 3rd 4? You know, everything comes in 3s. And it is that this is my 4th embryo. And what I'm so grateful for is that this embryo was made in the headquarters. And I just know that when I transfer this beautiful, worthy, strong embryo, because as you know, I was upset when I just had one. And that's another thing about the headquarters. Carolina's always there. And like, I messaged you right away. You were my person, and your words of just advice, but also just comfort, just really made me believe that, you know what, I am at least going to have
anyway.
I know, but
one.
it was hard at that time. But
I think it's also important. I think that's an important lesson is that, not to invalidate, because that was invalidating. So I'm sorry about that. Is that in healing, you are going to face challenging things. You're going to have pain. But what the difference is, well, inside the program, you have support with me and the other program members. But it's the difference of how you move through it, and also knowing that it's okay to have these emotions. Are they to be angry or to be sad or to mourn or to move
Yeah.
through grief of like disappointment that there, I mean, you had disappointments that there weren't more.
Hmm.
That's that's valid. Like, it's not, I think that there's a big myth on social media like, oh, Reiki takes the pain away. It can help you move
No.
through the pain.
Yes.
It doesn't, and in spirituality that you'll never experience an ounce of pain. No, that is not it. It's actually probably the most painful thing you can do is to heal. It's much easier not to. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and I think it's like it's a disservice to yourself to think like I'm not allowed to feel negative. I'm not allowed to feel scared. I'm not allowed to feel disappointment. That can mean further from the truth. I think it's really, I think when you know that, like, yeah, I'm going to sit in my feelings right now. I'm going to be really sad until
Yep.
I'm ready to release it and move on to like, okay, that sucked. And like, but now, like, okay, what's my next move? What is my next mindset? Okay, what's the new hat that I'm putting on? Because of like, okay, I got one. So now how do I feel after I release it? You know, like in
Hmm.
choosing to move, like it's giving yourself that grace and space to feel everything that comes up.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you were just there as support, right? To help me through that.
Yeah.
But, I definitely did all the hard work during that time. And
You
it,
are the
yeah,
heart. No, you are the
yeah,
person that does it.
yeah,
Not
absolutely.
I'm just like a guide.
A
That's
guide.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a guide, but you're the one. You know what I love about this though? You're the one. I didn't even know you had all those conversations with your dad. I know that they improved, but like you're the one who chose to have those and you're the one who
Hmm.
navigated them. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that happens consequently because of you become your own safe person, you become empowered, you feel like you find your joy again and you start to
Hmm.
live it again. And like think about the difference of the kind of mom that your child's going to have. One that is a full living human being that's healed, that is powerful, strong, and full of life and full of interest. Think about all the things that you are going to effortlessly and unconsciously give to your child without even having to. Like everyone says how polite our son is or how well mannered. And I'm like, they're like, what do you do? Because our kid is a heathen. I'm like, I say please and thank you to my husband. I say please and thank you to Ollie when he brings me a drink or he like it's just a part of our home and it's
Hmm.
never been something that we've effortlessly that's just an example. Like so think about all the positive things that you have been able to do that are just going to be a normal in your house but are not a normal in another person's house.
No, I'm so excited.
I just want to this will be my last breakthrough but what a gift you are going
Yeah.
to be to your home, to your husband that you already are, and to your home, but to your baby.
I
I
know.
cannot wait. Will you come back and tell us when you're pregnant?
Absolutely. I cannot wait to come back. And I
Okay.
can't wait to tell you when I'm pregnant. I know it's going to be soon. So
Will you
I'm
keep
so
us in the
excited.
loop?
For
Will you
sure.
message me and let me know like a couple days before your retreat, your
Transfer?
transfer,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so that we can send you Reiki and like be like have the whole community rooting you on?
Absolutely. I cannot wait. I will for sure. I love this community.
I love
So
you
I will
so
definitely, yeah.
much. Okay, so okay, one last thing. What is your
Hmm.
favorite thing about giving Reiki to yourself, your dog, or your husband?
Ooh, my favorite thing about it is that it makes me feel good, but I know it's making them feel good.
I love that.
Yeah.
Nicole, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being vulnerable. I think it's really brave to come on a podcast and share so much of your fertility journey. And I'm so thankful for allowing me to be a part of your journey.
Thank
Until
you.
until next time, my friends, let the Reiki flow.